Let's talk about single circulation and double circulation. Let me quickly draw a picture of heart. Deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body comes to the heart. Heart then sends that blood to some body organs for oxygenation. So this is the organ which is oxygenating the deoxygenated blood. Now once the blood has been oxygenated in this organ, it may be lungs or gills, it then goes to different parts of the body. So this is one thing. Another thing is that from here, once it has been oxygenated, it again goes back to the heart and then heart pumps it to different parts of the body. So what are the two pathways? First is blood goes into the heart. From heart it goes into the lungs or gills. From there it can either come back to the heart and heart supplies it to different parts of the body, or from lungs or gills it directly goes to different parts of the body. So this path is the part where double circulation is taking place, because in one cycle blood is passing through the heart two times. One time when it is deoxygenated, one time when it is oxygenated. And this thing, when the deoxygenated blood goes to the organ for oxygenation, and that organ itself sends it to different parts of the body. This pathway is known as single circulation, because in one cycle blood is passing through the heart only once. Let's see single circulation and double circulation in different organisms now. What happens in the case of fish? So fish have a two-chambered heart. They have one atrium and one ventricle. Blood goes into the heart of the fish and then heart sends it to the gills. Gills oxygenate it and that oxygenated blood goes to different parts of the body. So fish have a two-chambered heart and single circulation, because blood is passing through the heart only once in one cycle. Let's talk about amphibians now. So in the case of amphibians, their heart has only three chambers. So they have two atria but only one ventricle. So we can see here that in the ventricle there is intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. It decreases the efficiency of the heart, because same blood will have to be purified or oxygenated again and again. So amphibians have three-chambered heart. What can be the reason? So amphibians are cold-blooded. Just like reptiles, fish, etc., amphibians are cold-blooded. In amphibians, there is double circulation. We can see in the diagram here that blood from various parts of the body goes to the heart. Heart sends it to the lung or the skin capillaries. There, the blood gets oxygenated and then it again comes back to the heart. Heart then pumps it to various parts of the body. So this is again a case of double circulation. What happens in the case of reptiles? So reptiles, except crocodiles, all other reptiles, they have a four-chambered heart, two atria and two ventricles. The two ventricles are not completely separated. So they have this muscular wall between them. This is septum, but this septum ends here. In this little part, there is intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood from both the ventricles. So this is again causing an intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So reptiles also have a 4-chambered heart, just like birds and mammals. But in the case of reptiles, the two ventricles are not completely separated. They are not completely separated. And is it double circulation or single circulation? So we see that deoxygenated blood goes to the heart sends it to lungs oxygenate it, bring it back to heart supplies it to different parts of the body. So this is double circulation, but over here there is some intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And now comes the part which many of you must have been waiting for. So here we talk about heart of mammals and birds, including us humans. Also crocodiles. It is a reptile, but its heart is very much like birds and mammals. So in the case of birds and mammals, they have a 4-chambered heart, and this septum or the muscular wall between the ventricles and the two atria, it is completely preventing the intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. They have a 4-chambered heart, and there is no intermixing of oxygenated or deoxygenated blood, or the ventricles are separated completely. In the case of reptiles, there was partial separation. Here the ventricles are separated completely, and just see the diagram on the right now. Deoxygenated blood from various organs of the body comes to the heart sends it to lungs send it back to the heart, and then oxygenated blood goes to the parts of the body. So it's again a case of double circulation. So based on all of this knowledge, we can now make a table of this type: fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, type of circulation, chambers in heart, and whether the ventricles are separated completely or partially. What are the advantages of double circulation? So in double circulation, heart is pumping blood to different parts of the body. So when heart pumps blood to different parts of the body, heart can do so at high pressure. But in the case of single circulation, like fish, gills were transporting blood to different parts of the body. So when blood is transported from gills directly, it cannot take place at high pressure. Heart can pump blood at very high pressure. So because of this, blood quickly reaches all the parts of the body. It quickly reaches all the parts of the body. So for those organisms that have higher energy needs, they would be having double circulation. Let's see what are cold-blooded animals and what are warm-blooded animals. So cold-blooded animals such as fish, amphibians and reptiles, their body temperature is same as temperature of the surroundings. So the body temperature is same as temperature of the surroundings. So because of this reason, they do not need to expend any more energy in maintaining their body temperature. However, in the case of warm-blooded animals such as birds, humans and other mammals, their body temperature has to be maintained continuously. The body temperature is not the same as temperature of the surroundings. The body temperature has to be maintained. So if body temperature has to be maintained, this is going to need a lot of extra energy. So in cold-blooded animals, the energy needs are lower. Energy needs are lower. But in the case of warm-blooded animals, energy needs are high because they have to spend some energy in maintaining the body temperature. That is why, in the case of warm blooded animals, since their energy needs are very high, therefore, to increase the efficiency of heart, there is complete separation of oxygenated blood from deoxygenated blood in the heart. However, in the case of cold blooded animals like amphibians and reptiles, they can tolerate some intermixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood because their energy needs are lower.